Hello and welcome to the Rei Sportscar Championship for Season 8, Round 5, Race 2 here in Division 1. And let's go through the grid here for this feature race at Red Bull Ring. So on pole position is Braddersby, who was tied for pole with Ross 21. In third place is Urbiquito, who lost the lead at the final turn in race 1 to Braddersby. In fourth place is Mr. Mako, who definitely has the pace, so if he can be a bit more consistent, a podium may be on the cards. Meanwhile, in fifth place is Snake96. In sixth place is Scanny Flick, with seventh place being Charlie Fraser. In eighth place is Turismo 5S, who'll be looking for something a little bit better this time around. And then on the final row is the number 2 car, Al Zeppi, and Samios in the 69 car. But back up front, we had an absolutely amazing sprint race with so much action, including a last corner controversial overtake to take the win. But who is going to be victorious this time around? And you can see the lights have gone off, and here is Bradley coming towards turn 1. There is tyre wear active for this race, but these wet tyres, they don't wear too much, so actually we might not see pit stops here. And using quite a lot of the curb on entry there with Brothers. Oh, and you can just see the oversteer there without the traction control. Oh, and is that Urbiquito now looking for a move on the outside? He is in the Evian car. But not to be so far here in this feature race. Using the short layout here, it's already provided some very close racing for us today. Meanwhile, there around the outside of Scanny is going to go Charlie. Oh, we've got a car off our Samios straight into the wall. He went at turn 3. And that might be his race over, but we've got Charlie Fraser on the outside of Scanny Flick, and as they go into turn 5, Charlie moves up into 6th place here on lap 1. Great stuff. And Sammy has retired there from the back after his spin. Let's just capture a replay of that. So as we go through the corner, just following Al Zeppi, and oh, when he's accelerated while still turning fully to the left, and that has sent him into the gravel trap. But as we go on to lap 2, Ross actually not too far behind, even with that slight battle with Paquito. And you can see that there is a slight breakaway group with the top 5 nose to tail. Paquito running a little bit wide, which may allow Matko a chance here. So let's just see, will he dive down the inside at turn 2? You can see him there to the left. No, not to be. And you can see a few different lines being taken. You can also see Snake in the background looking to pounce. Oh, what's happened here? Charlie Fraser's lost out. So if we just look back another 20 seconds. Oh, he's coming out of turn 1, so as we go on board with him, just on the front camera, you can see the top 5 up ahead, and Charlie braked too late. Tried to rescue it by accelerating early, and in doing so has over-revved the car, not got the acceleration he needed, and that is Scanny Pass and Turismo Pass. And as we just watch this battle through turn 2, 5S is looking for the move again. A little bit of door banging, but nothing worth penalising for sure. And Charlie down the inside, that's an amazing opportunistic overtake from the Scottish driver around the outside on lap 2. He made the same overtake on lap 1, and he moves into 7th place, but it could have been 6th. Back up front in the colour changing car is Braddersby, with Ross just behind. Lap times not quite up to the standard that we saw in the sprint race. We saw a fastest lap of a 1:02.7, I think, or maybe even a 0.6 back in the sprint race. Oh, that's a big impact there to the back of the Hungarian car. Now, so far the fastest lap is for Braddersby, but Ross is actually the one who's been quicker on this lap as he approaches, but no overtake possible just yet here on lap 3, but there's a long way to go. It is about a 40-minute race. Charlie Fraser's dropped off again. Let's just see if that's something we can catch on the replay. No, doesn't look like it. So as we skip to lap 4, we see that Charlie has a slight penalty for abusing track limits. Oh, and there, well, he's almost abused track limits again, but if anything, the curbs have actually caught him out, and he falls further behind as he brakes too late for turn 2. He's almost off the track, just about keeps it within the white lines. But that will allow Al Zappi here in night to close in and not drop too far from the back of the pack. Back up front though, it is Brothers V with a 1:03.2, but that was 2/10 slower than Ross here, who will be looking for another Rei Sportscar Championship win. Ross was one of the fastest in the sprint race, but got pushed down the order, finishing 4th at the checker flag. Ooh, look at Keto sideways on the exit curb. You can see it's kind of the green Astro is what really catches the drivers out. And Ross is having to defend from Paquito, who gained 4/10 in the previous lap, but not enough to make an overtake. Now, round 6 of this 8-round season is going to be at Mount Panorama, which is an entirely different challenge here, going up and down the mountain there in Australia. The lap times are over 2 minutes. There's so much slipstreaming that can go out of Forrest's elbow. Oh, we got a car off, and I think it is Charlie Fraser from 9th. So he has got good pace, but he's lost out of turn 2, and from there hasn't been able to control the car in time for turn 3. As we skip ahead to the start of lap 6, oh, we've got Paquito in second. Let's not skip ahead. What's happened here? I think Ross has actually just run a bit too wide. Bye bye, Ross. As Paquito makes a very clean move there through the final toe. Oh, a little bit wide again from Ross and Mako on the inside. It might be 2 places in just a couple of corners as Mako moves into the podium positions. Is it going to be a permanent move? Well, oh, he's lost control. He had the move stuck and now Ross has hit him, but to be fair, Ross really didn't have anywhere else he could have gone. There's only grass next to him, and now it's Snake. Let's go on board with him. So Matko has now moved into 3rd, Snake looking to take advantage to get into 4th, and Ross is going to go from looking to be leading to going down to 5th in a matter of about 5 corners, but no, Snake not too aggressive, and if anything, could have been... Ooh, he's taking it very easy, and Ross is being far too nice to give him that much room. So Snake in the end does go down. Snake does move up to 4th, but that's a solid 2 seconds lost from all of those drivers in that fighting. Ross actually losing over 3 seconds in total just on that lap alone. In all of that fighting, it's allowing Scaniflick to close in, and I would have said Turismo 5S as well, but, well, the amount of time he spent off the track there is not going to help him. Back up front, and Paquito, you cannot get much closer than that to the back of Brothers V's car. He wants redemption after losing the sprint race. If we just think back to sprint race, Brothers V was leading for about 3/4 of the race, lost the lead with just a couple of laps remaining. But then it was the last corner overtake, there was some contact. But Brothers V did cross the line in 1st place as Paquito, with an amazing fastest lap so far for 2.778. We haven't seen many 102 so far. Maybe even that might even be the only one. And that is a qualifying pace. I think that would have actually got Paquito on pole had he have done that in the 10-minute session, but Brothers just about closing the door right now. Further back is Matko, who's actually got some good pace in him. And no, where has that come from? Snake, after battling with Ross and Matko, has now done a 102.666, and surely that fastest lap is not going to be beaten. That is an amazing pace. Not to take away any credit from Paquito, because Paquito has higher ballast for this race. Paquito has the max ballast of 4% weight and 2% power deficit. Meanwhile, Snake only has about half of that. So he's doing amazingly to even fight for wins here, especially as he is a controller user. Oh, I think we did actually have just a car off, or no? Well, Alzappi has actually lost quite a lot of time. And there he was, getting a bit loose at turn 1, very loose. He just about controls it, but half his car went into the grass. As we go to lap 9, we can see Bradley still ahead, now moving into the 102. So now that the pressure's finally on him from the Italian, he's picking up the pace. Matko with some extraordinary pace as well here, matching the leaders, and Snake is a little bit inconsistent. He got the pace for the fastest lap, but then may drop back into the hands of Ross. Just 9 cars in this race for now. So very tentative acceleration from Scani coming out that corner. The foot goes on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle, off the throttle. And along with the traction control, he is in 6th place, so certainly doing a good job so far. And had a great race in the sprint. Back up front, and it is, again, it's just a couple of attempts separating them. Bradders probably didn't get too good of an exit from turn 1 if they're this close. Oh, and that's an interesting line from Bradders. That might just allow Paquito to sneak through here into turn 5, but no, holding off well for now. But we're still not at the 3rd waypoint. Just a quick look on tyre wear. Oh wow, that's a big slide. Just look at tyre wear, and you can see the tyres are not wearing much for these top 2, even with such excessive sliding from our race leader. Get a look into the inside Brothers, so he's actually moving slightly towards the middle, but nothing overly defensive. Oh wow, how was there not contact? Paquito could not brake a millimetre later. Excellent work from him to stay that close, even drawing a corner, and now a little dive bomb? No, not to be. He defending going into turn 5, that's going to compromise his line, but he has enough of an overlap to move back towards the outside curve. And actually took that corner very well, but I think Paquito took it a little bit better. Is looking for the wider entry through turn 6, and look how close he is on the outside, as Bradders has not defended that outside well enough, and Paquito has the opportunity to sweep by. Let's just we'll catch a replay of that in a second, see if anything develops here for now. Surely you can't overtake on the outside. He's going to try it, but no, he'll have to back out surely. Oh, he's run too wide, so Bradley will keep that position. He's going to turn 2, where they are still side by side, but that time penalty is going to hold him in 2nd place. Let's just catch a replay of some of that action. So going through this final corner, you cannot get much closer than this. And then you can just see that Paquito uses the exit curve. Bradders has not defended it in time, and that is what allowed him to get alongside and force Bradders to compromise his racing line into turn 2. Matko, Snake and Ross are all catching up here with those two battling, because all of them are actually doing low 3s, which is exceptional. Then in 6th place, and actually now clear of 5S, is Scani, although that off-track excursion is not going to aid him. There is 5S here, who, yeah, just losing a few tenths, and not too sure why. He is one of the fastest in the field, just not today. And then Alzappi, well, It was going well, but he's had a big spin here coming out of turn 4. Oh, he's actually lost it through turn 3. He's got onto that green curbing, and that is what sent him bang into the wall. And he's ended up behind Charlie Fraser now, back at front. Another poor lap by Bradley of 1:04.0, but it was Paquito who lost even more time, and it's Mako Snake really closing up now. Ross has actually had a pretty poor lap so far and dropped off. Oh, that was way too much oversteer on the entry, and Paquito really closes up so much he thinks, you know what, I'll have a move into turn 2. And he does go for the move in turn 2, and there is a car width, but Bradley closes the door there, mid-corner, being all of that. Look how close third place is, and this is going to make it even closer because Bradley's left the door open there at turn 3. Let's get the onboard from our third place driver. You can just see Snake in the wing mirror to the right, and actually no moves being made so far going into turn 5. And going into that final turn, I think Ross, you can see, is closing a little bit along with Snake. And as we approach lap 15, we are approaching the halfway mark. I don't think any of these drivers are going to pit for tyres, but any of these top 4 really are in the running to win. Oh, Mako's actually the one looking to the inside. Oh, just a little squiggle, and that might... Is Snake now? No, Snake stays in 4th, even with Mako's little wobble. This is very similar to the Division 1 sprint race so far, when it was so closely packed, but vastly different to the Division 2 race, which had some up through the field domination. Just a quick look further back, and Scani is finally having to fight for 6th place because 5S is on him, and 5S there was trying to be cheeky and use that curb, but we've seen before that that curb can only cause you pain. We've seen Alzappi spin off it, but you know what, 5S might use this to get through at turn 5 and turn 6. They're side by side into turn 6, and that would be one head of a move if he can do it. He goes for it. He is dominant into turn 6, taking that 6th place. As we go back up front, Paquito looking to the inside of Brothers V. Oh, and Snake really close as well. And you know what, Paquito's actually been held up a bit there, and Snake and Mako really want to take a hold and get into 2nd place. Oh, and Snake on the inside there. So Mako actually running a bit wide, trying so much to get into 2nd, losing out eventually. Further back, Charlie Fraser, still in 8th place ahead of Alzappi. Might have been a few position changes here and there, but yeah, Alzappi just falling away now. Charlie doing 104s, Alzappi doing 106s, so actually I think Alzappi did lose the position there, let's just see. So going out of turn 1 here at the start of lap 15. Oh, he's just lost it and over-controlled the car, and Charlie will sneak by on the inside here. As we skip back towards lap 16 after looking at our Wolf Cola replay, we are now at the end of lap 16, we're looking at lap 17. And Paquito is actually forcing Brothers V to defend as he goes towards the middle of the track, goes back to the outside, and Andy has a little bit of movement. Oh, he's lost it, he saved it. Oh no, there's been and Brothers V spinning towards the inside. Contact, I think, with Paquito and Snake. Let's just catch that on replay. He drops down to at least 5th, maybe even worse. Actually, going to be 6th, maybe even 7th with Scandinavian. So let's get on board with the front of Paquito. There's a little bit of contact there, which maybe sent him loose in the first place, and then in the rear view mirror you can see that Snake, nowhere really for him to go with that speed differential. Oh, Also, just as Brothers V, I think he just about saved the car after the slide at turn 1. But in the end, he still loses it. Let's just catch it on board. Let's just see the steering. Maybe there wasn't contact originally, but then just as he'd almost saved it. But nowhere really for Snake to go, with Brothers V being at the lower speed. And you can see here this allows 5S and Scaniflick to now take initiative. And that's horrible news for Brothers V in this feature race, which offers 40 points for the win compared to 20 points for a sprint race win. So a sprint race win is actually not that important compared to the feature race win, which offers double points, but it is also double the length. In all of that, Mako is now in 2nd place, Snake in 3rd, Ross in 4th, and obviously Kishito took the lead. But yeah, the 12 seconds that Brothers V lost from that spin has lost so much time. We saw in Division 2 drivers winning by about 18 seconds, and here, one spin or one incident drops you from the lead to 7th just like that. Further back, Charlie Fraser almost losing control of the car, but he just about saves it going into turn 3 with Al Zappi just behind. That is a good battle looming up for us with 1st place. Oh, 2nd! What's happened here? On the inside, I think he's gone. Great move by Snake, so Mako just not defending it enough after a poor run through turn 6. And the number 27 sneaks into 2nd, so it's now an Italian 1-2 with the horizontal Italian of the Hungarian flag in 3rd. Has he made the move? You know what, I think he has. Al Zappi on the inside. So he caught it as it was happening. Let's go a little bit further back actually. So Al Zappi just with way more speed coming out of that final turn. Really revving the car. And then as he got closer into turn 1, he was still having to defend Charlie to the outside, but yeah. Al Zappi made the move stick even with so much oversteer. Oh, Al Zappi will hold on to 8th place even with a little bonk and Charlie drifting. Deja vu saved it and into 9th place he goes. Oh, and again he's sliding, and again Al Zappi sliding. This is amazing stuff to see here in Gran Turismo. Back to our lead pack, and Paquito now has a little gap, but there's no current pressure. But Snake and Mako may be the ones to challenge him. Paquito is the championship leader, and he's the championship leader from quite a distance really, with so many wins or 2nd places. And it was only really a poor round of Blue Moon Bay which has cost him an even further lead. However, only the best 6 out of your 8 results count toward the championship, so it's okay to have a little iffy round. A 2.8 from Mako and a 2.9 from Snake compared to the 3.4 from Paquito. So now that Paquito isn't hunting down someone, his pace has dropped. Maybe that's a little bit to do with tyre wear, although obviously Snake and Mako also will have that little drop of tyre wear. Just further back, yep, Brothers V tyres are still okay, even with being sent towards the wall, although his right hand side tyres are getting a bit cold. His pace has improved though, he's now doing low 3s, but Scani actually pushing further ahead, and 5S has also picked up the pace. So as soon as Brothers V finds himself in the traffic, unfortunately for him, everyone has been picking up the pace and is not going to allow him to easily make his way back up. Just so back, we can see that Al Zappi's also bringing up the pace. So what is it? about drivers suddenly picking up the pace halfway through this race, with the exception of the race leader. Oh, well, Zappi, just as I said that, he has gone into the wall with the left-hand side of his car. He will stay on, but Charlie, who sweeps around the outside, will surely go into 8th unless he accelerates too hardly. No, into 8th he goes. And you can see that they're actually now about a lap behind the race leaders. As we skip to lap 22, we can see 5S and Scani are actually pretty close, and the reason for that is because 5S's pace has dropped off and Scani has been fairly consistent. Meanwhile, Brothers V has actually had a really poor lap last time around, so what could have been a win, and it could have been a double header win, may find himself getting very, very few points in this feature and costing himself overall. Finishing on the podium in both races is better than winning the sprint race and being near the back of the feature. As we get towards lap 23, and our closest battle is between the race leaders, and actually I think that Snake maybe pushed Paquito off. That's very aggressive driving from Paquito, forcing him heavily towards the wall. We'll catch a replay of this action just in a second. I think it's maybe boiled over now. No, the ice has melted over, and let's just catch it. So, was there any contact as a precursor to that? Snake has just been on it. 2-9, 2-7, 2-8 the last 3 laps. Paquito's ran wide through turn 5 and turn 6, and Snake has just took that final corner perfectly. Though I think there might have been contact at that final turn, and very aggressive defensing. I don't think he wanted to be overtaken with contact yet again at that last turn. But with that, Mako's now joining back in on the action, and Ross is still waiting in the wings. Also, just further back, we've got Turismo 5S still on a battle with Scani. Meanwhile, back up front, though, it is now side by side through turn 2. Side by side, maybe with turn 3? No, Paquito getting a fantastic run. He does have 1.2 seconds worth of penalties, though, and that may increase with more off-track exertions. Now, part of that would have been due to the small tap at turn 6, and part of that would have been due to, I think, turn 1, I think. Ooh, really aggressive braking from the two of them, but he'll stay in the lead for now. So as we are watching the battle for the lead, the battle for 5th was heating up. And that is fantastic driving from Scani. And around the outside at turn 4 is amazing. That is superb. 5S actually losing control, but that pressure really did wear on the American driver, and Scani moves up into 5th. Meanwhile, back into the battle for the lead, you can see Snake. Look how close he is to Paquito. He's getting closer. He is getting closer. He has a very, very slight power advantage over Paquito, but he's not using that yet. It's only 1% extra power he has compared to Paquito. Oh, that's very deep. That's very deep. You stay ahead for now. It's only 0.8 seconds worth of penalties now for that top Italian and our reigning champion. But with more performances like this from Snake, we may see a future champion in the waiting. I have missed something crucial. When did this happen? What's happened here? Mako, who was running a very comfortable 3rd here, last lap on 23, completely misses. Has just braked far too late and actually gone off the track. And just as he was looking to battle for that race lead, he dropped down. Just a quick look back, 5th, 6th and 7th now closing back in. Bradley picking up the pace after a terrible 4.9 just a couple of laps ago. Meanwhile, back towards the lead is Paquito, who, yeah, his pace has been dropping. So the gap between 1st and 7th is only about 10 seconds. Meanwhile, 8th and 9th are... well, Charlie's actually about 5 seconds ahead of Al Zappi, who's actually now been lapped and also has a small time penalty for off-track excursions. But he's recently done his fastest lap of the race with a 1:03.2. So in terms of the overall fastest lap pace, it's only about half a second separating them all. Charlie heavily off the track at turn 1. Maybe gains an advantage, but he'll be penalised for that. And then we've got Paquito and Snake here, nose to tail, and still holding on, because it's actually been quite easy for drivers to defend here due to the wet weather making it very difficult to hold lines around the outside. We've seen that at turn 1 especially. Lap 25 of 36, just 11 laps to go, and Snake looking to the inside. Holding the lead, but Ross has put in some fantastic lap times to really close in there. A 2.8 not too many minutes ago, and Charlie Fraser in 8th pitting. Well, his tyres aren't that bad really. They are actually some of the worst tyres, but yeah, not really bad enough to pit, and there's no mandatory pit stop in these wet conditions, as there's only one mandatory tyre, and that is the heavy wet tyre. Back up front in 26 laps. Turismo 5 is getting very, very loose. Meanwhile, Bradesby laps Charlie Fraser, who just left the pits. Meanwhile, Al Zappi has now actually had another incident just on this lap alone. Let's just see where it happened. It happened at turn 2, running completely in his own hair, and has just let off the brakes mid-turn. That's a strange one. Head first into the barrier. Back in front for the lead. Paquito to the inside of his fellow Italian, and this is a perfect chance for Ross to actually take second and maybe even the race lead. And there's maybe contact, I think, through turn 2. Ross to the inside of the exit turn 2, but no, the door is firmly shut in front of his face. And actually Ross getting a frankly poor run out turn 3. You can see the top 2 are pulled away now. And you know what, I think he's going to the inside. As Snake, he's gone to the inside, and Paquito might lose the lead here. It's on lap 27. And Snake is taking the lead. Oh, there is a slight bump wide. Paquito actually will get an off-track penalty for that. And he's off-track again, and you know what? I think Ross is going to move into the lead. Well, Ross moves into second for now. Has he got the acceleration to get past Snake? No, it doesn't seem like he does. But Paquito drops from first to third there. Let's just go on Portugal. Oh, it was a poor line from Paquito. He understeers wide. Just late on the accelerator, and you can just see the better run that Snake gets. And then it was a great dart here to the inside. And as we go on board with the Irishman, little contact but nothing untoward, and then again a little bit of contact, but Paquito was on the outside, Snake on the inside, and that dropped Paquito even further back. Meanwhile, at the exact same time as the race lead changing, was a battle for 6th and 7th. Meanwhile, Charlie Fraser into the grass, it seems he goes. Al Zappi moving into 8th, but Bradley gets the better acceleration compared to 5S. Moving into 6th there at turn 5 Oh, a little bit of contact. I mean, I just side. I don't think Bradley was too late there. Maybe 5S thought that Bradley would turn in a little bit earlier there. And Bradley at the oversteering there at the exit of turn 6. Here on lap 28, Paquito with a fantastic move down the inside as Ross just turns in a little bit too late, leaves the door open, and off he goes in pursuit of Snake 96 again. He struggled to keep a solid pace when in the lead. It seems like maybe the pressure was too much for him. But he'll be hoping that he can put on the same levels of pressure that Snake put onto him. I think he's seen that Snake is using a lot of that curb at turn 6, so he's trying to replicate that to gain a couple of attempts as he crosses the line with a 3.9. That is 6 tenths slower than Snake, but obviously Paquito was re-overtaking Ross. Further back is Mako, who may miss out on a podium. 5th place is Scaniflick, with 6th place being just behind Radesv, who is approaching him there out of turn 1. 5S is in 7th, Alzapi in 8th, and 9th place after a spin on the last lap was Charlie Fraser. As we cross the line to start the final 6 laps, let's just check the lap time, see where the gaps are going. Snake is actually really quick here in the lead. Paquito unable to gain much time, and Ross actually is the fastest out of the top 3, but it's only by a tenth. Matko is falling away from that top 3, and a podium really does seem out of reach. Meanwhile, Scanny and Bradders here fighting into turn 1. It's only separated by a few tenths of a second, but Scanny is the one who gets the better exit out of turn 1. Charlie is becoming Herman Tilke here, redesigning the circuit. Oh, wow, that is absolutely amazing. So, what's happened is Charlie Fraser's gone so wide here on the entry. He's just lost control, a little bit under braking, understeered wide. Accelerated a little bit too much off the track. It sent him into the grass, off the track. And he's gone so far wide, he's had to restart there from turn 5. Comedic levels of stupidity there from Polyphony Digital. As we go back to the battle for the lead, we've got Snake, making a gap from Paquito and Ross here battling for second. So I think the race win is firmly in the hands of Snake, especially with racing lines like that there from the championship leader. And yet again, and Ross will move into second place here as we approach lap 31. Great stuff from Ross to keep putting on that pressure. Another load free as he takes 3 tenths out of the race leader. But he will lose a little bit of time as he compromised through turn 1. Meanwhile, a battle for 5th. As you go through that final turn, you can see Scanny just going a little bit deep. And he, in the number 6 car, moves back into 6th place. So Bradley has overtaken 2 of the drivers after the incident at turn 1. But he's still about 10 seconds away from that race lead. Scanny's not gonna go away without a fight though. So we may see this changing hands yet again. Oh, and Paquito's had an absolute torrid time this lap. After falling behind Ross, he must have made another mistake because Matko's actually not too far behind him. Oh, that's a lot of oversteer from Bradersby. Scani getting a much better run there. Scani Flick actually using automatic gears, and maybe that is helping him out. Maybe that's just the preferred option for him here. Meanwhile, Bradersby probably went into third gear a little bit too early after that spin and lost quite a lot of revs. As we skip to the start of lap 33, we see Brothers and Scani still very, very close in action. Back up front, Snake with incredible consistency is going to bag a Rei Sportscar Championship victory. Ross here, after qualifying second, may finish second, but that 3.0, 3.1, 3.0 and another 3.0 the last 4 laps there. And then it is Paquito and Mako. Oh, we've got a driver off. It is Al Zappi in 8th place. That was a pretty poor run there out of turn 1, allowing Scani to close in, but not close enough as they approach turn 2. Just a little bit further up front is Matko with Paquito, who's now, after a poor lap on lap 31, has now improved, but it's too little too late. And Snake with an excellent performance to come from 5th place to 1st. But it's not over yet, as we saw from the sprint race. What is happening here? You've got Scani on the outside of Brothers V, so yeah, he's looking for that re-overtake. So just going through turn 4, Brothers V getting a bit loose, and Scani here moving to the other side. Brothers not defending too heavily. But Brothers actually cutting back on the inside, not something we've seen too often here at turn 5 and turn 6 of Red Bull Ring Short. Snake is just a few tenths ahead. This is a very similar gap to what we saw near the end of Division 1 sprint race. So it's still up to play for. We've got Charlie Fraser trying to unlap himself from Brothers V. Now he is a couple of laps behind though. But Brothers V actually runs a bit wide there, and Scani getting a fantastic run surely through turn 2 and turn 3. Brothers V running a bit wide, he's on that awkward green AstroTurf, he loses the car, he manages to control it, but Scani's got the great run on those outside curbs, and Scani moves back into 5th place. They were battling last lap, and now Brothers V gone from 5th to 6th now. Not the performance he would have wanted in this feature race, but the unfortunate slide and then the unfortunate contact was his demise. It is now the final lap of this race though. Brothers V not able to get the jump on Scani there. Scani does have 1% more power than Brothers V, but it's back up front, and and Snake is defending into turn 2 from Ross 21. This will be a fantastic and enthralling win if the Irish driver can pull this off. It's been exciting enough as it is, with Snake moving up the field and Bakito moving down the field. But I think it might be too late for Ross unless he can pull some absolute magic out of the bag into the final 2 turns. It's only a couple of tenths, if that. It's maybe a tenth and a half. And no, I don't think he's close enough for that last corner dive bomb. He's using as much of the track as he can, as is Snake. But no, we're going to see Snake cross the line here at Red Bull Ring Short. Fantastic win from him, first and second for Ross and Snake. Bakito across the line in third. Fourth is Mr. Mickey Yamako. Fifth place holding on there just by a whisker is Scanny Flick. Let's just catch a replay of just seeing how close Brothers V was, who will finish 6th in the end in that feature race. 7th place is Turismo 5S. Disappointing poor performance, he would probably think. And in 8th place is Alzapi, who will cross the line too. 9th place, a couple of laps down, is Charlie Fraser, but he did put in some good laps near the end. We hope you enjoyed this race from the Rei Sportscar Championship. We will see you for more Division 2 action soon, as well as Round 6 at Mount Panorama Bathurst.